century, the philosophy of Junkanoo in the Bahamas was initiated by a unique cultural expression, with earliest documented histories of 2017 from 1801, some 217 years ago. Could you imagine celebrating youth for 217 years? But guess what? The passion of Junkanoo was transported to the Bahamas by West Africans, and our history and the essence of what we know today to be the cultural expression of Junkanoo. Our ancestors decorated their bodies and covered their faces to symbolize the historic, the energetic, the vibrating, pulsating beat of Junkanoo. The indigenous costumes were made from shrubs, bushes, sponges, and anything of that time. And as the decades rolled away, they became what we know today, crepe paper, a small sheet of documented atoms which were used for Junkanoo. The exclusive distinctive ability of layering one piece of crepe paper, one at a time, to transform into this magnificent artifact is something that is phenomenal in and of itself. As the cultivation of Junkanoo formalized itself throughout the Bahamas, women, unfortunately, were not allowed to partake in the glowing cultural expression. Our forefathers, though, paraded the main streets of the islands of the Bahamas in their own individualities. Thus, in the 60s, the era then developed where women were finally allowed to partake. And this element, this grace, graced the essence of Junkanoo. While evolving the growth of Junkanoo came the competition. Yes, competition sometimes brings out the best in us, but the competition is where we were. The end result of the costume and the melodious artifact of the music and the ensemble is what brought the essence and the celebration of life. As a female, as a leader, resilience and logic are essential tools to ensuring that what we see today is how it is brought to be. I'm humbled to have been afforded the opportunity to share this magnificent TED Talk stage with three outstanding women. Women who knows exactly how they wanted to share their moment in time. Women who are magnificent in their own right and who have made the decisions to live their lives to the fullest. We're all examples of vision builders. We live beyond making excuses, and I know we are unwilling to accept the norm. Character, respect, courage, class, and discipline are a few attributes which have assisted me in my journey of life. The ultimate aim of a human life and its activity is the development of character. I'll repeat that. The ultimate aim of a human life and its activity is the development of character. This, according to Aristotle, who probably was the greatest philosopher of all time, stated to develop our characters into liberties of excellence whilst improving the environment in which we thread. Isn't that amazing? You can certainly attest to character building. How many of us have sat on a train, in a subway, or in a restaurant, and we saw something unattended? Or perhaps wallet or money or something of that sort of a value being fallen from its owner. Your character will then be determined on the action which precedes that particular item. The voice which pushes you to make the right decision. Your character is defined by the action taken. Therefore, the utmost essential objective anybody can have is to accomplish in life is to be exceptional with you, with who you are. Earning respect can never be taken away if it is accomplished in its truest form. Junkanoo attracts a varied amount of individuals, as you could appreciate, from different socio-economic backgrounds, from different cultural identities. Junkanoo is its own unique animal in and of itself. So Winston Churchill stated that success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The former First Lady, Michelle Obama of the United States of America, stated that you may not always have what you need. You may not always be able to solve all of the world's problems, but it is what you do with the courage that you have that will allow you to endure to the end. Courage, all of us are examples of courage. Speaking to a worldwide audience is courage in and of itself. You sitting here, something must have enticed you, must have brought you to this point that allowed you to have the courage, the will, the discipline to sit, to listen, to ingest, and most importantly, to take away. Those are true characters of courage, discipline, and most importantly, character. So you're asking yourselves, what does Junkanoo have to do with the elements of why I or she are here? Well, allow me to paint a picture. Could you please raise your right hand? And then allow your hand to extend above your head. And then please place your right hand along the top of your right frontal lobe. And then allow your hand to gracefully glide down the side of your side, and then place it in your lap. Thank you. You listened, you followed, and most importantly, you completed the task. So you're saying, what does me having to raise my right hand do with Junkanoo, and then how is that being articulated with this talk? It's either because of a preconceived idea, or are we moving to a particular point? I asked you to do so because I'm showing you the essence of the importance of why we are here. The law of attraction can be an idea that nurtures a positive state of mind. It can literally impact the context in which you live. Something, someone, somewhere must have in some way in your mind, in that idea of courage, in that idea of discipline, in that idea of your character, must have enticed you somewhere to do something that's right, eh? Right? But the key factors of discipline, in my opinion, is preparation. The key factor of discipline is preparation. If you fail to plan, you do what? If you fail to plan, you do what? In Junkanoo, if we fail to prepare for a parade, then what happens? You get what? What we call in Junkanoo Jeff. Jeff means you get left, correct? That means your costumes are incomplete. That means that you are not prepared. If you are on a job and you fail to prepare for that job or your task, what happens? Then you are no longer gracefully employed with that nice company, right? So you listened earlier and you obeyed, and then you're wondering, what does this all have to do with this particular talk? How many of you have seen the movie Forrest Gump? There's a very famous quote from Forrest Gump that says, life is like a, you never know what you will. That is, in my opinion, something that epitomizes the reason why we move now. I am an assistant vice president of a global Fortune 500 company. I am at University of the West Indies, and I am a professional in every sense of the word. I am the first female co-chair of the National Junkanoo Committee. I am the first female public relations of the world-famous Valley Boys. I am a former beauty queen. I am a first female Olympian in a sense of our first Bahamian Bahamas games. I was in the first female soccer team. I am a former Bride of the Year. I am a judge of many national and international pageants. I am the first child, the first grandchild, and the first niece in my family. So as you can see, I've experienced a lot of firsts in my lifetime. So when I asked you to raise your hands and place it above your head a few minutes ago, that was for a reason. Because on June 22nd, 2009, I became the first person in my family to have been diagnosed with a brain tumor. That was something that rocked my world. I've had successes in my personal and professional life, but never thought that I would have experienced that kind of first. That's the kind of first you don't want to experience. And so my story takes another twist. Remember, we started with the pulsating throbbing of the drum beat? Well, that same drum beat is what helped me and escorted me through a time in my life that was the darkest ever. Having been diagnosed with a brain tumor, living through a craniotomy, being told that I had a 20% chance of living, and look at me now. Look at me now. Having had a myriad of skin grafts, learning to breathe again, learning to walk again, not ever imagining that I will have hair on my head. But look at me now. My hair is hair through skin grafts. I have a titanium plate in my head because the tumor was not only the size of a cookie dough when I was initially diagnosed. It grew and wrapped around my brain and fed off this main artery. And so therefore, the entire right side of my head, my skull, was removed, replaced with titanium plates and screws. And see, I could talk about it because it's my story. I have been through the days of the neurosurgeon, the neurologist, the MRI, the CAT scan, the blood work. Oh, the weight gain, and the medication, and the not thinking that I will have the hair, but it's bleach and it's mine. See? So, the character that I spoke about earlier, the courage to have endured what I did, the class of knowing what I can't and cannot do, and sometimes the frustration and the depression plays a pivotal role also. But we are but human, eh? All we are is who we allow ourselves to be. So, if being diagnosed with a brain tumor some 9 years ago, July, and having gone through the utmost, the insurmountable amount of tests and needles. Listen, needles, boy, needles, I don't want to see a needle ever again in life. I've had a discussion with my surgeons and my friends. I don't want to see anything in a needle. But you begin to appreciate life, the celebration of life. Why are you here if not to make it the best possible? So who are we all? Are we then left with that throbbing, pulsating beat of the drum? Or will we allow a circumstance to overcome and overshadow us? I didn't. Because I had the best scarves, and I had no hair, but child, I had to make sure I was correct. And the optimism of knowing that there is a will to live is what helped me to endure. And so as I leave you, I would ask each of you to stand with me and then look at your neighbor to your left. And then look at your neighbor to your right. And then ask your neighbors to your right. Are you okay? Because not just because you see a smile means that the person to your left is okay. So I'm asking my Junkanoo family, my Grand Bahamian family, my Grand Bahamian audiences family to move and gyrate, to allow the pulsating beat of the Junkanoo drums to make your body feel like there are no worries in the world. Thank you and have a nice evening.